Thanks very much for joining me for another in the series of Marketing Monday for Mediators and Arbitrators. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution, and today we want to talk about the 7 reasons that your marketing might not be working. So we're going to spend just a few minutes with each one. Let's see, we're going to start number 1. The 7 reasons why your marketing isn't working, and going really quickly into number 1. Every business, every practice, all of us, we rely on marketing to fuel our growth. And effective marketing produces a steady flow of paying clients, we hope, right? But what if you don't have an effective marketing strategy? If you don't, then you probably don't have a predictable stream of clients either. So if your marketing isn't working, your practice is vulnerable, and that's not a good place for any business person to find themselves in. But the good news is, of course, we can fix it, and we can, get your practice back on track. So we want to go right down through the list of identifying all of the various, well, no, that's not true. There are hundreds of reasons why your marketing might not be working, but let's pick the top 7. And so number 1, let's look really quickly at, have you given your growth enough time? And I know that in our industry, it can be really frustrating. I understand that our curve of growth is long and flat. It just takes a long time to grow a mediation or an arbitration practice. And if you've joined me on previous Marketing Mondays or read anything that I've written, you know that it just takes us a long time because we have to introduce ourselves to the people most likely to hire us. They have to like us, and then they have to trust us. And that just takes time to establish. So our point number 1, have you given your growth enough time, is one of the more universally unpopular truths in our industry. And I wish I had a better answer for you than that, but that's just the way it is. Most neutrals that I talk with are aware of this, and they're somewhat accepting of it, but they also can get frustrated from time to time. And I understand that. It just does take a long time to promote and build a successful practice. In fact, the average is, depending on where you are, anywhere from 2 to 5 years. Now, the time frame, that 2 to 5 years, can be shortened if you use an effective marketing strategy. And an effective marketing strategy requires repetition and consistency. So it's not just enough that you reach a prospective client once. We have to repeatedly reach out to them. And in marketing vernacular, these are called touch points. And it takes repeated touch points and engagements in order to drive the action. Of course, the reason is because you have to be marketing your message to them at the right time. So just like in a mediation, you have to say the right thing at the right time to the right person, or it doesn't work. So when we're talking about marketing, right, some things have changed, some things haven't. And over the last quarter century, this has not changed. It takes anywhere from 6 to 9 touch points for us to be top of mind with a prospective paying client, right? And that, for a lot of my new clients, comes as a surprise. They really hadn't thought before that it required so much interaction, but it really does. Excuse me. So you need to reach out to your target market repeatedly, and you need to do it through different channels, through your website, through social media, through email, video, podcasting, networking, writing, speaking. Through all of those different mediums, you need to be connecting with them on a regular basis. And trust me, you're going to get tired of your marketing message long before they do. So I know for you, it might be a little bit frustrating, but really, truly stick with it. Be consistent and be persistent. Number 2, it might sound like maybe a rude question, but do you have the right person doing it? One of the challenges that most of my clients face, maybe that most business people, small business people face, is that you already have a day job. You've already studied for, hours, weeks, months, years to do what you do really, really well. And marketing and building a business, being an entrepreneur for most of us is another job. And so for some of us, it's a full-time job. That means you have to work really hard to build a practice, to do what you do, mediate or arbitrate, and build a practice. And that's a big commitment. And a lot of my clients, as much as they would like to be the person in charge of their marketing, one, just don't have the time. Two, they don't have the time to learn an entire other specialty, right? To keep up with all of the different social media platforms and their algorithms, to keep up with all the writing and the speaking and the training and the networking and all of the things necessary to build a successful practice. It's a lot. And so most often when I'm talking to a client, it isn't that they don't maybe want to do those things, or they couldn't be good at them, or they couldn't study it, or they don't have the necessary gray matter or creativity to get it done. It's just that they already have a day job. So if that's your situation, then you need to think about outsourcing some of those things that can be outsourced to an assistant, to a junior partner, to a consultant, to somebody else, so that the jobs get done. Because when you already have a day job and then you add on top of it another full-time job, most likely the marketing activities that need to get done simply don't get done. And that's a big mistake. Easily avoidable. Share the load. Right? That's an easy one. So I don't want you struggling to learn or acquire new skills, or, struggle with your calendar, or not spending enough time with your friends and family. Those are not good reasons for a marketing mistake like this. You can share the load. Just take that one off your list. The third point that we want to talk about today is knowing and understanding your clients. And when I talk to mediators and arbitrators, they almost all of them say, well, sure, I know who my clients are. Of course, I know who my clients are. This is my specialty. This is what I do all day, every day. I know exactly what they want. Of course you do. We all like to think that. But from time to time, it's a good exercise to sit down and really, with a critical eye, think about how your knowledge of your clients is being translated into your marketing. Sometimes the most obvious things to us are the things that we're least communicative about, right? Because we assume everybody is at that same level of understanding. And so you want to be sure that you sit down, really look at your marketing message, and what you know and understand might not be as apparent to someone else. So it's always a good idea to revamp, rewire, renovate that message from time to time. What is the process that your clients go through to do business with you, right? Are you making it as good and as easy as it possibly could be? Are you really addressing the issues that they have? Are you able to understand in advance and be proactive so that those things that could be issues are just non-issues, right? All of those kinds of things. You might want to think about what other mediator or arbitrator is being considered at the same time that you're being considered, and why might that other person have received the case when you didn't? It might be that we need to go back and look at your website and look at your messaging, all of that real estate that's above the fold on the first page, really important. Might be that we need to, rev up your social media marketing tactics, or we need to clean up your profile, or we need to be more active doing things. There can be lots of different things, but we want to be in the place at the time that our prospective clients are, and we want to be delivering the right message. So really think about the message. And in fact, that is point number 4. And point number 4 is whether or not your message is really, really resonating with your prospective clients. You want, first of all, to be sure that any marketing message that you put out in a graphic, in an article, in your elevator pitch, whatever it might be, we want to be sure that your message is authentic to you and your personality. So don't just find somebody to help you draft what you think is a really good marketing message. It might be, but if it doesn't fit you and it doesn't fit your clients, if it's not authentic to that relationship, then it's not going to work because it's not going to be true. It's not going to resonate. So first, always be sure that your message is true to you. And in that way, your clients will have reinforcement that they can, like you and trust you. Now, second, most clients do what is called social proofing. We've all done it. I do it. You do it. We all do it. That's where you go to Google and you type in the name of a restaurant or I don't know, film developing company or a mediator, whatever it might be. You type that business in on the Google and it comes back with all of their listings and their reviews and their social media pages, all of those kinds of things. And for us, this is really important because as our clients are going through their decision-making paradigm, we want to reinforce, we want to validate their inclination that we're the right person to hear that case. And so having everything sort of put in order, all of your messages or messaging, all of your brand ID, all of those things need to be organized. They need to be consistent. All of those things are in order. And that's what gets us to that next level is that resonating message. So again, with a critical eye, go back to your website, look at the first page, specifically not the bottom half, but the top half. You don't want to have to scroll, and make sure that visual real estate is being used to best advantage. The same with your LinkedIn profile or your Facebook business page, or whatever, wherever you are, make sure that is correct and really sending the right message. You can talk about who you are, what you do, why you do it, for whom. You could talk about how you're different. You could talk about, all of those kinds of things. But what you want to avoid is sort of the generic messaging, the generic statement, sort of the fast, fair, friendly overview of what you do or how you do it, because a lot of us use that kind of language and that doesn't set you apart from other people that are being shopped. Right? So we want to make sure that we've got the right message. Now, number 5, we want to look to see that your brand is as strong as it absolutely can be. And so, I've already mentioned that clients prefer to work with neutrals that they know, like, and trust. So it's important that you build a brand. And remember, your brand, that's the visual, the graphic of personality of your practice. That's your brand. And we want to develop a brand that positions you as being likable and knowledgeable in your specific area of specialty practice. Because if prospects don't trust you and they're not convinced that you're going to be able to help them, they're not going to hire you. I mean, this is not difficult math. So having that branding put in place, and again, being consistent, being persistent, using it repeatedly over those 6 to 9 touch points is really important. And you can do it through, blog entries, again, video content, podcasting, all of those kinds of things, writing, speaking, training, networking. Those really strengthen your brand and build trust with your potential clients. It shows them that you're a credible authority in the resolution industry, right? You want to, when you're looking at your brand, I would encourage you to really focus on providing practical information that they can use to make their lives or their practice or their relationships better. You'd want to create something like 4 strategies to increase your success in mediation, right? Those kinds of touch points, something that is of benefit to them, of value to them, something that is actionable for them. All right. Closing in toward the end here, number 6, when you go back and look at your marketing, it might be that you're just asking for too much all at once, right? Most of our clients as mediators and arbitrators take a little time to make a purchasing decision. And the more significant their investment is in your services, the more time it typically takes. So that means, for example, that a good portion of the traffic to your website or to your social media site is going to consist of people who are doing their social proofing, they're doing their research, but they're not quite ready to write a check. And that's absolutely fair. And what those folks need is valuable information from you to help them make their decision when they're ready, right? Again, it's the right message to the right person at the right time. And so, all of these things that we do, we want to be focusing on nurturing that relationship, on guiding that potential customer, that potential client through their purchasing decision, through their hiring of us. And a lot of mediators and arbitrators can make a mistake of focusing their marketing on making an immediate sale. But we're not selling coffee cups. We're not selling t-shirts. Well, I do from time to time, but you're probably not. And so you really want to focus on building that relationship. An immediate sale, not likely. Long term, that's what we're going for, right? Number 7 on our list, and our last point, is one of the mistakes is to sell the features of what we do, not the benefits. And I'm not playing with words. That's not a game. When you post on social media or you talk about your practice, I hear a lot of people talk about the service features, and that's really not beneficial to the people that we hire. So, I mean, sure, it is essential to have a great service, that your target clients, your target market, want that, obviously, but they're likely to hear that same kind of messaging from your competitors, let's be honest. A potential client who hasn't experienced you or your competition, they don't know who's better. They don't know who's been oversold, or if some things have been overstated. They don't know the difference between your practices. So instead of promoting the features of your practice, you're much better promoting, or at least stating, the benefits of your practice, and create credibility by presenting a narrative with examples of your experiences, and consider, if it's right for you and right for your practice, using testimonials. But think about the benefits that you offer, not just the features. What are the points of pain that your clients or the parties are facing, and how can you communicate directly to that? So when marketing your practice, you really just want to focus on how your service will improve your prospective clients' lives. That's it. That's easy for number 7. So, listen, in conclusion, there are, like I said earlier, there are probably hundreds of mistakes that can be made when we're marketing and promoting a mediation or arbitration practice. But chances are, if there are mistakes being made, they're somewhere in this ballpark of 7 reasons that you and I just went to. So again, with a critical eye, look over your marketing activities, put on your strategic mojo, and have fun. Really look, really build, enjoy. And then also, I would love to know, before I sign off, if you've ever experienced a marketing slump, what got you out of it? Let me know in the comments. Send me an email. Let me know. But I'd like to know, what have you enjoyed? And that's it for me. Thanks so much for joining me for another in the series of Marketing Mondays, and I will see you